Schmelz here, coming at you with a brand new Valorant video, and we finally got the official Valorant patch notes 3.05, so we're going to be breaking all that down, talking about when the patch is releasing, what to expect, and so much more. This is a really fat patch, so let's just jump right into it. But go to the GameLeap website if you want a head start to dominate the competition. There's a lot of movement going to be happening with a lot of people in silver moving around this patch. So if you want to set yourself up right, snowball your rank all the way to Diamond, Immortal, and beyond, definitely go check out the GameLeap website down below for in-depth advanced guides. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. Now, we're going to be going over the new changes in 3.05. We covered some of these previously, but we haven't heard why Riot is implementing these changes, and there's a lot more included in this patch notes, so let's break it all down. They said this about the patch. Quote, this patch adds more consistency to the damage that abilities deal to opposing abilities, tweaks to everyone's favorite 2 robots, and are following through on our attempt to adjust our rank distribution mentioned in a previous Ask Valorant. We covered that in a separate video. Definitely go check it out if you haven't. Don't skip the fracture only queue and new XP bonus for premium battle pass owners. Now, wasting no time, we're going to jump into the agent updates, and they had this to say. Brimstone, Silva, and Breach are all receiving consistency changes to ability damage. We want to reward those of you who are creative with the ability sandbox, using your tools to solve the obstacles other agents are creating. To ensure this, physical objects across Valorant need to interact in a reliable and consistent manner so that you could properly plan and execute without knowing ability-specific interactions. Now, we're going to talk more about that in a second, but let's talk about what these changes are, and then we're going to really break it down. So, Breach, his Aftershock now deals damage to the following: KILLJOY Alarmbot, KILLJOY Nanoswarm, KILLJOY Lockdown, CYPHER Tripwire, Reyna Lear, Sage Barrier Orb, Silva Recon Dart, and KO 0 Point. Now, here's the thing. The Orbital Strike is going to do a very similar thing. Orbital Strike from Brimstone, KILLJOY Nanoswarm, CYPHER Trapwire, Sage Barrier Orb, Silva Recon Dart, the same thing as before. It's going to deal damage to the following. And Silva is actually getting the same thing with his Hunter's Fury, that quality of life change / buff where he interacts favorably with all of these types of abilities. Now, I do understand their point when they're talking about consistency, but overall, this is going to be a slightly felt nerf to all the Sentinels. In particular, KILLJOY and CYPHER are really going to feel this, being able, like with something like Aftershock, to inadvertently clear out trapwires or just use it on a point like a default plant zone and make sure that there are no nanoswarms, no alarm bots nearby. That's actually really powerful and really important. It makes it a lot easier because of the area of effect. It's going to be really easy to clear out those things, and it's also going to be useful for trying to push onto a point, just randomly finding that trapwire. And while I don't think it's that important for Brimstone's Orbital Strike and Silva's Hunter's Fury, I think that just this change in general is an interesting precedent, and I think overall it's not going to truly hurt the characters, but it is something that you're gonna have to look out for because it could be relevant and you could die to it if you're not prepared for it. Now, next up, we gotta talk about KILLJOY, who received a pretty noticeable nerf. Riot had this to say about it, quote, KILLJOY's turret is a versatile ability that provides information, chip damage, and a powerful slow. While manageable during mid to later rounds, the turret can be especially impressive on pistol rounds down longer sight lines where the tactic intensity combined with weapon spread makes it challenging to press forward. These changes aim to slightly tone down the turret's abilities to impede rushes and give opponents more counterplay options, and the turret bullet tagging reduced from 72.5% slow all the way down to 29.5% slow, which is freaking crazy. That's less than half of the slow rate now being affected to the player when getting shot by KILLJOY's turret. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again, KILLJOY's turret is incredibly powerful on pistol round in particular, way too freaking powerful in my personal opinion, where oftentimes you would have to just avoid it altogether. Especially if you had something like the classic pistol with that weapon spread, you could try to kill this turret, and depending on where it was set up, it could do like anywhere from 50 to like 90 damage to you and really slow down rushes. Really difficult to play around, very annoying, and for something that was free on KILLJOY's kit, it just got so much damn value. Now, ultimately, good KILLJOY players are still going to be able to use KILLJOY's turret to amazing success, to peek angles that they don't want to peek, to find players on a potential flank, or just actually give you awareness or information where you know an enemy's pushing on and then you yourself are the one following up, or you're using some of your other abilities to potentially stall out the enemy. There's still a lot of uses for KILLJOY turret. It's still an amazing ability. It's just specifically in that pistol round, the frustration isn't going to be there as much, and you're not going to get as many free rounds based on the back of turret alone. So overall, it is a nerf, but it's not going to ruin KILLJOY. Now, next up, we have to talk about an an agent that got some controversial changes in RAZE, and they had this to say about the changes. Quote, the Boombot's ability to clear space, spot and track opponents, as well as one-shot enemies with light shields, left you with limited options on how to counterplay, especially during low economy rounds. So we're trading off reduced damage output for an ability reduction in order to introduce more Boombot counterplay options. This should also increase the frequency that RAZE mains can use Boombot to create space. So the Boombot got nerfed in one way, where the max damage got reduced from 125 to 80, and the min damage got reduced from 50 to 30, but the cost also got reduced from 400 to 300. I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it, this is a buff. This is a buff to RAZE because that price was a really big prohibiting factor. Especially in that pistol round, you really wanted to be able to buy Boombot, and just over the course of every single round, you basically want this ability every single freaking round. It's the most powerful ability on RAZE. It's incredibly unique. It allows you to take space in very difficult to take space areas, spaces like mid of split, where there's so many angles that enemies could hide behind, and being able to get all the information with one ability is just unparalleled. It's so damn powerful, and the fact that you could still make plays off of the Boombot, yeah, the threat is not as strong, but it's still there. They're still taking potentially freaking 80 damage to the face, and it's gonna give you information about where they are. So overall, I think this is good, and I think that most RAZE mains are gonna be happy with a cheaper Boombot, even if it's less powerful when bought. Now, the next thing that we gotta talk about is the sick map Fracture. It's insane, and there's gonna be a 2-week period where the map is not gonna be in competitive, but there's gonna be a Fracture only mode that you can play. So instead of just playing regular quick play, you can go play Fracture nonstop, which is definitely something I highly suggest, so you don't just pop into competitive later on not knowing anything. But of course, we're going to be doing an in-depth map breakdown of the map if you want to learn all the broken angles on the GameLeap website. So go check it out down below if you want to be able to dominate the opposition and get a lot of free wins come 2 weeks. Now, next up, we do got to talk about competitive updates. Immortal 1, 2, and 3 are back. The leaderboard will update to distinguish between those of you in each Immortal tier. Updated rank grouping restrictions to accommodate the return of Immortal 1, 2, and 3. Diamond can play with Immortal. Diamond 2 can play with Immortal 2. Diamond 3 can play with Immortal 3. And then they've also adjusted the competitive rank distribution. We talked about how there was a giant amount of people in Silver. People are going to be moved around a lot. Some people are going to be pushed a little down. And if that happens to you, you know where to go, down below. And some people are going to be pushed up. Hell yeah, you deserve it, and you're only gonna go even further this act. I believe in you. Now, we do gotta talk about the progression updates. Premium Battle Pass bonus XP. Update to the Premium Battle Pass will grant a 3% XP bonus towards Battle Pass tier progression for all match-made games into the end of Act 2. So those of you who upgrade are more likely to actually finish the Battle Pass, which is definitely a good thing. You actually want to be able to finish. It's definitely frustrating to not get like that last tier or feel like you have to play outside of your comfort zone to the extent where you're just trying to chill, you're just trying to grind some games and not just have to like no life it, you know, snort some G Fuel and just fucking grind your games. Definitely a nice bonus. And they said this about it: we believe the Battle Pass experience is at its best when you're able to earn hype rewards as you unlock tiers, hitting major milestones and feeling good about what you've earned. This is not retroactive, so upgrading early will give you access to the most amount of XP. The XP bonus does not apply towards daily or weekly missions. So if you are going to buy the Battle Pass, it's a good idea to buy it right off the bat rather than waiting before you had all that time to wait, but you're not going to get this XP bonus. So it's pretty important to buy it, especially if you're one of those people that don't finish. You know, who would have that problem? Anyways, let's talk about performance changes. They're updating the ping calculation, they're updating markers for NVIDIA Reflex, and overall, they're fixing a lot of bugs on Ascent and different things like that, competitive bugs. And that's about it for this patch. I'm incredibly excited. What do you think about it? Are you happy about the changes? Are you sad that Sentinels do seem to be getting hurt a little bit? Some of this rebalancing is inadvertently hurting Sentinels. Of course, KILLJOY is getting targeted. What do you think about the Sentinel role as a whole? Do you think that they're taking a backseat towards duelists and initiators, or are you happy where Sentinels are right now? I really want to know your opinion about that and why. Go to the GameLeap website down below to dominate patch 3.05. I freaking love your faces, and I'll see y'all next time.